People who will call my name shall seek my face and turn from their wicked ways. Then I will heal their land. Hey, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Happy day, happy day. You know what? It's been a great and beautiful day today. I hope all of y'all are doing well out there. I hope everybody's having a blessed day. A blessed day of rest, a blessed day of reflection, a blessed day of honoring the Most High, a blessed day of doing those things inside, internally, that would help you grow, help you become more established in faith, in truth, in love, in honor, in righteousness. Moving forward in these last days of these last days, not afraid to stand boldly, okay, not afraid to stand strong in that righteousness um, that comes from and emanates from the Most High and reflects from the Most High within you, so that you can then reflect that light and love back out into this realm in preparation for the return of the King, in preparation for the establishment of the new kingdom, the kingdom of the Most High, as this satanic, wicked, devilish, nasty, horrible kingdom falls away. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. It's great to see you on here, Mama Carolyn. It's great to see you. I hope all has been well with you and the fam. For sure, for sure. You know, this live stream, you know how I do, y'all. You know I like to come with some type of truth, with some type of edification every Shabbat if I can. If I'm blessed to do so, I will. It's always my prayer that this word of truth goes as far as it's supposed to, reaching all those who it's supposed to reach. Um, I've changed location a little bit on my land out here. I went to a different location where I just found out I had some more reception. I got all four bars popping. So I hope that this live stream streams very well, because I don't want anybody to miss what I have to say today and what's going to be said through me. Um, as always, I thank you all for joining me on the live streams. I thank you all for participating with me and taking time out of your day to join me and to uh, position yourselves to receive a word of truth. Okay. You know that I like to use modern life situations um, in order to reflect and to showcase how the Most High's word given to us is alive and well. It's a living book, it's a living testimony, it's a living narrative that every day is being manifested in this realm. Every day it is being revealed that the words of the Most High is delivered to us through these scriptures are true. I know there's still many who doubt. I know there's still many who seek to hide their heads in the sand. I know there are still many who would say that the narrative given to us is given to us by the enemy. I know there are still many out here that would deny the truth and deny the signs that we are seeing take place all around us. But it is always my hope channels like this one stand firmly in the truth and continue to deliver that truth unequivocally. Will continue to deliver that truth boldly. Will continue to deliver that truth with a sound mind, a sound heart, with all ego set aside, not worrying about what people are going to feel when the truth is delivered, but just knowing that the truth must be delivered. I titled this live stream, Seek My Face. Seek My Face. Sweetie Pie's son, Tim Norman, has recently been found guilty of conspiracy for murder for hire, and wire fraud in regards to his murdered nephew, André Montgomery. Many people in the so-called black community, in our community, were uh, very entertained by that show, Sweetie Pie. Many of us found joy watching that show, due to Miss Robbie's energy, due to Miss Robbie's business acumen, due to Miss Robbie's willingness to provide employment for so many in our community and really make it a point to be a strong woman after everything that she has been through in her life, especially in STL in St. Louis, dealing with or being a part of Tina Turner, the great Tina Turner's background singers, which was a big deal back in the day. Um, to be a part of Miss Tina Turner's legacy early on, and to be somebody who helped her establish her legacy, musically speaking, is no small feat. And to be witness to so much of Miss Tina Turner's life, to then take uh, those aspects and not really being the popular singer, or the lead singer or the headliner, but then able to take her career and catapult it into a successful restaurant empire. And of course, I'm talking about Miss Robbie at this point. And to put on her family, to make sure that her family was well off, to make sure that her last remaining child in Tim Norman was well taken care of, especially as she was on the road so much of his early life and wasn't able to really be in his life early on, due to her career and how she sacrificed her being in her son's life in order to eventually make a way for them all, in some form or fashion. Uh, if you are a fan of the show and you watch the show, within the first season, the first episodes, that they put emphasis on Tim's upbringing, her son Tim, and that she lost a son due to violence. Some time ago, Tim's older brother was killed. Okay, at the age of 37, he was killed. And I could only think about how that would affect Miss Robbie and a parent now that I'm a parent myself and I'm 37 as well. And to think about all the days that I've been on this earth, and to think about all the things that I've been through, and to think about my journey and my testimony, and to think about how I wasn't always doing the sound and righteous thing, but the Most High had grace and mercy over my life and on me, to where now, as a 37-year-old, I'm not out here running the streets. I'm not out here engaged in the type of activity that would be indicative of my life being taken in a violent manner. Anything can happen. And that's why we want to stand firm in the truth. Because if the Most High has a plan for our lives that go contrary to what we may deem necessary for our lives' direction, well, then we must always be prepared spiritually in our soul for those changes to occur. You know, like me and one of my brothers, Anthony, said back in the day, rest in soul, rest in peace. And we made a song called You Never Know When Your Time Is Up. A lot of young brothers dying for nothing, but tell me, is it really nothing if I grind for something? Look out! All the signs read danger. 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 You feel me? We looking at the signs right now, and many of us don't see the danger ahead. And one of the things that I like about the signs of the Most High is that when you have chosen your side of the fence to rock with, you either gonna choose the side of wickedness or you gonna choose the side of righteousness. When you choose the side of righteousness and you recognize all of the signs that are taking place in our lives right now, prophetic, biblical signs that were promised to happen in the time of the end, those signs don't reflect danger as much as they reflect a homecoming. Those signs don't reflect danger as much as they reflect great days ahead. You see, the signs only reflect danger to those who are still living in a mode of wickedness. The signs only reflect danger to those who are still living in the mindsets of wickedness, with a heart to do evil, with a heart to be nasty, conniving, evil. wicked, deceitful, hurtful. Only then do the signs that we see reflect danger in a person's life. That's why so many who, who see the signs but who still want to live a life of wickedness are hiding. They're placing their heads in the sand. They don't want to recognize what's going on, even though in their heart of hearts they know that what's going on is true. And this is very saddening. It's unfortunate. But this is when, as parents, all the parents out here, we got a saying, don't we? I think that saying, you could lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. That saying is so prevalent when it comes to parenthood, when it comes to raising our children. Now, my babies, they still young people, very young. My oldest is 13. Thank you, Mama Carolyn. All praise to the Most High. My babies are still 13 and under. So when you think about leading a horse to water but can't make it drink, we can only do so much for our children before it's time for them to grow into adulthood and take those qualities that we have done our best to teach them onto themselves and lead the type of lives that are righteous, that are upright, that are worthwhile, that mean something. Mean something for the Most High. Now, if that child grows into adulthood and decides to go against the teachings that were established in its early life, that is that child's free will to do so. And all we could do as parents at that point is pray and pray and pray and pray and pray to the Most High that those angels continue to minister to our children, that the Most High have a plan, a divine plan in place for those children that is outside of our control, that is outside of anything that we can do for our children at that point. Because at that point in our children's lives, they are no longer children. They are adults. And they have a life to lead. And that life to lead will be it will either highlight that they are good seed planted in solid soils, planted in great nutrient soil, that they are willing to now grow up and grow into those fine trees that we had always hoped them to be, or they are bad seed, and that seed still being planted in good ground will not produce the type of fruit that we had always thought it would produce because it is indeed a bad seed. Now, why am I saying all these things? Because when we looked at that show, Sweetie Pies, and we saw Miss Robbie, we were just so happy to see our elder doing so well for herself and for her family. We were so happy to even want to take a trip to St. Louis and say, you know what? I ain't been to St. Louis before, and I ain't been to St. Louis in a long time, and I want to go out and see what Miss Robbie is talking about. I want to go stop by Sweetie Pies. I want to go eat that food. Last time I was in St. Louis, it was for a family reunion, and we all sat there as a family, and we said, hey, what y'all want to do today? And everybody that had already been living in St. Louis and the families, they suggested, maybe we should go someplace else to eat because the lines is always long, the Sweetie Pies. Everybody from out of town wanted to obviously go buy Sweetie Pies. But we knew that the scheduling was real tight. So the family that lived in St. Louis said, you know what? Let's go to a different restaurant because the line at Sweetie Pies is usually out the door. So everybody decided to go on to a different restaurant. And I didn't get a chance to go by Sweetie Pies. But as I look at the food on the TV, I could smell it. I could just imagine those smells through the television screen. And I could just imagine how good them sweet potatoes tasted, all that fried chicken, that macaroni and cheese. I could just taste the cornbread. I could just taste it watching that show. And I realized that Miss Robbie, she did so much to protect her brand. But even more so, she did so much to protect her family. And there was points in that show that really let me know that as black folks in this country, if we release the excuses, if we release all of those oppressive ideas that definitely have been put onto us, that there is a way to make a way, that there is a way to stand strong in this wicked system and to continue to reflect all of the characteristics of the Holy Spirit, to continue to reflect all of those characteristics of upright and righteous living, regardless of our past as a people. As long as we were willing to give all the glory to the Most High, as long as we were willing to move forward in truth, there would be something special done through us. Not just for us, but for those who we've been called to caretake over, those who we've been called to watch over, those who we've been called to shepherd into that light of love. And her son Tim, her son Tim is no excuse. He early on in his life, as young black men, as young black boys, myself being a young black boy before, you know, when we are growing up, we are so malleable. I didn't know I was going to use that word, y'all. We are so malleable. Whatever influence inspires us, that's who we're going to try to be like. I don't care if it's Iceberg Slim, I'm from the Bay. I don't care if it's Fillmore Slim. I don't care if it's 40 Mac Dre. I don't care if it's Robert Johnson. I don't care if it's Don Cornelius. There's so many men in our lives growing up. I don't care if it's the Black Power Ranger, y'all. Barney the dinosaur. There's so many beings in our life early on that if we're not raised properly, if we're not tended to and corrected like young trees who can go crooked, but need those rods of correction placed next to us so that as we grow, that crookedness can be straightened out, so that we grow up straight and strong, we can fall off. I know this very well. I used to be a black boy myself. And because I used to be a black boy, I can now, as a young black man, stand up here and I can relate to Tim Norman. I can relate to the decisions that he made in his life that got him to where he is now. You see, Tim Norman is a very interesting character. He seemed to be a well-to-do young man. He seemed to be somebody, as we were introduced to him on that show, who was just thankful for a second chance, who was thankful for an opportunity that was given to him by his mama, who definitely been through a lot in her life. They've both been through a lot. She lost her oldest son to gun violence in St. Louis. Tim lost his oldest brother and his only brother, as far as I know, from his mama, due to violence, that same gun violence. And that could do something to a young man when they looked up to their older brother. I know that Tim made statements about his brother being an influence in his life, and that influence is probably one of those type of influence that caused Tim to slip up in life, which caused him to be incarcerated for, if I'm correct, 10 years of his life. 10 years, a decade of his life, Tim was in prison. And St. Louis has some very rough prisons, y'all. The infrastructure, the prison complexes in St. Louis are nothing that you want to be a part of. They're very cold in the wintertime and very hot in the summer. No AC, lead paint, lead paint on the walls, many killings, many deaths have taken place in that penitentiary that Tim was housed in for 10 years. But when we saw him on screen, we didn't see that version of Tim, so we thought. We saw a young man that was quick to smile. We saw a young man that appeared to be very helpful to his mama and his aunties who were running that store, those restaurants, excuse me. We saw a young man who was married and made the decision to get married to a fine young sister and have a child by her and to raise his family to the best way that he could. We saw somebody who was seeking to make a change in his life. But little did we know the demons that were housed in that young brother. Little did we know the demonic influence that was whispering in his ear that he took heed to. Little did we know the troubles that he was facing in his life. I started this live off singing a new song of mine called Seek My Face. I'm so excited about this song. And I'm going to be releasing a bunch of music soon. I've been working very hard behind the scenes on some new music. I call it end times truth music. As I've been recording these songs, it was presented to me, son, this music that you are recording is the soundtrack to these end times, to these end days that we are living in right now. These songs are going to continue to motivate and inspire all of those who listen to the music to stay on the straight and narrow path. And these songs are going to wake up once and for all those individuals who have decided to stay off the path of goodness and righteousness. And one of these things that I have recorded, one of these songs that I've recorded is called Seek My Face. And it is in reference to Second Chronicles chapter 7, verse 14, where we read, if my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and will heal their land. That verse has always stuck out to me because I live that verse every day of my life, especially after August 11th, 2007, when I earnestly, fervently began seeking the face of the Most High. The Most High has answered every single one of my prayers. The Most High has prepared a way for me. The Most High has guided me and removed me from the paths of wickedness and established me on the straight and narrow path of righteousness. The Most High took me away from my wicked and evil ways. The Most High blessed me with grace and mercy and covered me when I was unsure about what I was to do, when I was taken away from all of those wicked ideas and paths that I had firmly placed myself on and where I was moving toward, and I would not be sitting here before y'all today if I decided to stay on that path. I listened to the voice of the Most High. I heard the call and I answered the call. And I'm eternally grateful and thankful for that grace and mercy extended to me. So I'm very aware of what I'm saying to y'all this afternoon on this beautiful Shabbat day. If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray, seek my face, and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and will forgive their sins, and will hear and will heal their land. I don't think Tim Norman knew who he was, and I don't think he knows who he is. But all signs and symptoms show that he is definitely a child of Israel, a child of Yasharala. Why do I say this? Because in all the kindness and goodness and grace and mercy extended to that young brother, his wickedness, his internalized greed and evil, got the best of him. What happened in 2015 that would change his life and his family's life forever and put a stain on Miss Robbie's legacy forever? Well, in 2015, our brother Tim Norman decided to do some things that were very uncouth. He had his nephew, André Montgomery, his brother's oldest brother. Okay, so Miss Robbie's eldest the son who was killed. Sorry about that, y'all. I'm sorry about that. I don't know why my alarm be going off like that on the Shabbat, but I'm sorry about that. 1 second. I don't be liking to water my crops on the Shabbat, but earlier in the summer when it was really, really hot, I mean really hot, and that sun was beating down on some of the crops, I had to go out there and do some watering. So I guess that's why that alarm is still set like that. I should turn it off on the Shabbat. But anyway, Tim, oldest brother, before he was killed, had a son. That son's name was Andre. And Andre, he was a young teenager, young brother when he was introduced to us on Sweetie Pies. He and his cousin Charles was the young life on the show. They were the teenagers who were doing their best to grind for Miss Robbie in the show. You know, they were both characters. They were hilarious to me. Very good-hearted, good-natured young men who I was very happy to see that they wanted to embrace Miss Robbie, their grandmother's legacy, and they wanted to. Well, Miss Charles wasn't Miss Robbie's grandson. Charles was Miss Robbie's grandnephew, if I'm correct. Okay, that was her nephew. Andre was her actual grandson. Okay, but they was both like grandchildren, grandsons to Miss Robbie. She looked after both of those babies. She looked after both of those young men, and she loved them very much. Andre ended up moving to St. Louis to be with that side of his family because, like I said, his father was killed in cold blood. And I believe Andre was disconnected from his father's side of the family for a while. And it was important for him to be brought back into the fold. Okay. And my condolences to his mother and his other family and siblings um, behind that heinous crime committed against him. Well, when Andre began working and living with Miss Robbie, some things began to happen that, as viewers of the show, we don't never know what's up with reality TV these days. If the producers are asking the show, the participants of the show to move a certain way, to do a certain thing for the camera's sake, so that ratings could rise. We don't really know what's going on, but we know that there was some crime committed, um, and the characters or the perpetrators of the crimes, they were never found. Okay. Now, this crime that was committed during the show, I forget what season it was, Miss Robbie's home was broken into. And she's real old school. I don't think she believes in the whole bank thing like that too much. But she had a large amount of cash, upwards to the amount of $220,000 that was stored in her home. Okay. She had her jewelry that she had purchased and collected over the years, amongst other things. And all of this was stolen from her home. Someone broke into her home and stole all of these things. Now, she made a statement that whoever did it knew it was there. Whoever did it knew that those items could be accessible if there was a certain level of boldness that the individuals who took it would embody. And sure enough, somebody was bold enough to take it. Now, if I'm correct, her son Tim, at the time, he was kind of nonchalant about it. But in his nonchalantness, he was pointing fingers, you know? And I found that to be strange. Um, at the time, I found it to be something of that he knew something, but in the black culture, we have this thing, it's a no snitch policy. And that no snitch policy is very misconstrued, you know. We have to get out of that no snitch policy when it comes to witnessing something that we don't have any parts to do with. Okay. A grandmother who is witnessing a crime being committed in her neighborhood is not a snitch because she had nothing to do with the crime. She had nothing to do with the plot. She had nothing to do with the planning or orchestration of said crime, and she does not benefit from the crime. So that grandmother would not be considered a snitch, even in the no snitch policy that our people have enacted amongst ourselves, if she was to speak on what she saw. The snitch has to deal with the individual who is engaged with the crime, engaged in the planning and the plotting of the crime and the orchestration of the crime and the outcome of the crime. If that individual was involved with the crime, got caught up with the crime, and now is sitting in a in a room getting questioned about the crime and decides to give up his or her accomplices in the crime as if he or she didn't have anything to do with the crime. That's a snitch. And so what we have to do is realize the separation of those two ideas, witnessing versus snitching. But I digress. Him sat up there and made it appear that he didn't have anything to do with the robbery that took place at Miss Robbie's home, burglarizing of her home. Now, now that more truth has come to light in regards to that whole situation, it appears to me that what we see is a back door on a back door. Okay, now in the Bay, what a back door is basically when you have somebody who appear to be a friend or accomplice to you, getting close to you in order to set you up or rob you of all your belongings. Okay, wait for you to be asleep or to wait for you to leave your home. They've been invited into your home as a friend. The whole time they were scoping out the scenery. The whole time they were sitting back waiting to see when you dropped your guard. They was waiting to figure out your weaknesses, a chink in your armor, so that they could attack you without you maybe knowing that the attack was on the way. That's a back door. Now, a back door on a back door is when somebody has been propositioned to get close to you by somebody else. And when that individual has achieved that closeness to the mark or to the target and has done and committed the crime that they were propositioned to commit against the target, then the one who propositioned, the one who got close to you, then pulls a double whammy on the person who committed the crime and sets that person up as well. And that's what I believe happened in this situation. And that is why I believe André Montgomery was killed and set up by his Uncle Tim. Now, True Jew, what are you talking about? Well, let me paint a picture for you. Let me paint a picture for you. And I'm going to do this picture painting based off of all of the evidence that has been presented to me in regards to this case from actually watching the show all the way up to Tim's conviction of murder for hire, conspiracy for murder for hire, and wire fraud. Back in 2015, Tim took a life, there was a life insurance policy taken out on Andre. Tim took out this life insurance policy. It was upwards of $400,000. I believe it was $450,000 life insurance policy taken out on André Montgomery, his nephew. Now, mind you, $220,000 and some jewelry was taken and stolen from Tim's mama, Miss Robbie. Okay? Now, when that robbery took place, Tim pointed the finger at Andre, his nephew. I don't know if y'all knew this. Tim accused his nephew Andre of stealing that money, which would make Miss Robbie say that whoever took the money knew who it was. Now, what the attorneys and lawyers in this case have not said or disclosed is that, and I believe evidence is going to point to what I'm about to say too. Okay, now this is me reading in between the lines. This is why I said it was a back door on a back door. I believe that Tim hired Andre to take the money from his mama. his grandmother. Okay. I believe Tim orchestrated it all. And I believe this because Tim revealed himself to be very conniving and very greedy and a very evil person. Tim wired millions of dollars from his mother's bank account from the business restaurant account in order to open up more restaurants in Sweetie Pie's name that she did not agree to. Y'all remember the show when Tim was opening up restaurants in Houston, or yeah, I believe Houston and Texas and all these other places. Tim was opening up these restaurants, and the show was going along with the flow, filming all of this as it was happening. Little did we know that Miss Robbie didn't sign off and agree to none of these restaurants. Tim was just opening these restaurants up against his mother's wishes. We know that Miss Robbie is an elder. Tim, we didn't know, was a hardened criminal. We knew that he had served a decade of time in prison. I think that instead of us thinking that Miss Robbie was afraid of her son and what he might do to her, we don't know if he threatened her behind the scenes or anything. But I think more so, Miss Robbie was trying to make up for lost time. You know, as parents, we can do that, especially when we become well off and we're already well to do. We want to give our children an opportunity to live the type of lifestyle that they might have missed as children, even though they're not children no more and they are grown people. I feel that Miss Robbie, she kind of bit the bullet on that one. And she said, you know what? Well, if Tim is going to do this, the Most High will figure it all out. You know, I know I wasn't in his life early on, and let's just see where it go. Maybe his business sense is sound. But Tim had nefarious intent. Tim had wickedness on his heart, and he was filled with wicked ways. And this is what makes me feel that what I'm about to say is more true than not. So, from what I could see, Tim hired his nephew. Tim was into hiring people to do his dirty work for him. This is how his nephew was killed, but I'm going to touch on that in a few minutes. I feel as though Tim hired his nephew Andre to run through Miss Robbie's home and steal that money and to deliver that money to him. His payment was probably the jewelry. They probably pawned that off, sold it on the side, and that's how Andre was was uh was paid. Tim takes that 220K and don't think nothing else of it. He plays the role as if he don't know what happened. He immediately begins to point a finger at Andre. And I always thought that was strange. Why would he point a finger at his nephew like that? And if don't nobody else know who committed the crime, what does Tim know? What does Tim know that we don't know? Did we miss something for him to be pointing the finger at his nephew like this? And me being who I am, when I first saw that, I immediately thought that Tim had something to do with it. But they kind of started sweeping things under the rug and nobody ever knew nothing. But at the same time, Tim had a life insurance policy taken out on his nephew Andre. And we didn't know this. So where does the back door and the back door take place, bro, True Jew? Well, I feel that Andre was getting ready to talk. Andre was getting ready to reveal to his grandmother that he had a role and a hand to play in that 220K being taken. And he was going to let her know that he didn't act on his own volition. He didn't act by himself. He was going to reveal that Tim, his uncle, hired him to run through that house and to take that money on his behalf, on Tim's behalf. And when Tim found out that Andre was getting ready to snitch to his grandmother about what they had done, Tim said, oh, no, no, no. And Tim had Andre killed to shut him up and to silence him. At the same time, Tim knew that he could come up another 450K because he had taken a life insurance policy out on his nephew Andre. So Tim decides to hire a dancer, an exotic dancer, and a brother who was out there hopped up on drugs to kill. his nephew Andre on one fateful evening. He paid the exotic dancer $10,000 to set Andre up. At this time, Andre had just graduated high school against everybody's belief that he would make it. See, Andre was a troubled young brother who lost his father, who was Tim's older brother. And Andre had a lot of doubts surrounding him. So when he graduated, he surprised everybody. But he graduated and he walked that line. And we were so proud of him. I know if you watched that show, you were proud to see Andre overcome the odds and walk that line and graduate with his cousin Charles. I know I was proud to see it. I know I was proud to see it. Because I know myself, I graduated by the hair on my chin. I didn't have this beard when I graduated. I had a little goatee. I wanted to, whenever I go to the barber, I say, brother, don't you cut that hair on my chin. No, that's my little goatee. You don't cut that. I had a couple little hairs on my chin. And them the hairs I graduated from. I graduated with a 1.68, y'all. It's not because I was dumb. It's because in this system, I knew something was up. And I just was not inspired or motivated. I just wasn't. Everything that I was going through in my life, I just wasn't inspired or motivated. But I'm thankful to the Most High that I pushed through that last month or so of school and I did whatever I could do to graduate. I didn't do nothing strange. I just did the work that I could do that was presented to me to make it happen, okay? And I'm thankful that Andre, he reflected within himself and he decided that it was important for him to graduate too. And he did the thing and he graduated. So we was happy for that. We was all happy for that. We was happy that he took his employment with his grandmother seriously and he worked very hard. When we saw on the TV screen, he would work very hard. But there was something happening behind the scenes, y'all. And the spirit had revealed to me that he was hired by his Uncle Tim to commit that crime of stealing that money. Or he had something to do with it. And it was at that point that Tim said, you know what, I got to tie these loose ends up. So he hired an exotic dancer and a drug head to set Andre up and to kill him. The exotic dancer called him to the location, into that park that was across the street, I believe, from Miss Robbie's residence. It's a city park. And the drugged up, hopped up brother, drug head, was the one who pulled the trigger and killed him. Now, all of this was revealed in court during the trial, in the sentencing, or during the trial of Tim Norman. Sentencing hasn't happened yet, but he's looking at life in prison when he is sentenced. And all of this set up and the arrangements and the conversations that took place between Tim, the exotic dancer, and the drug head was all backed up by text, call logs, and GPS that placed their phone, cellular data that placed their phones at the scene of the crime. So sad. But what made Tim hot? When I say by hot, I mean what put authorities onto his trail was that he tried to cash out that life insurance policy on his nephew Andre. Okay, and that's what put red flags on the Tim. So that's what you call a back door on a back door. Somebody plots and plans on one person and then is double crossed by the person who set it all up. All right, and it's a very sad, unfortunate situation. I'm gonna go into Jeremiah chapter 16. And I'm going to talk about briefly why our people have been destroyed. Why you can read the comment sections all throughout YouTube and you can see statements like, Black people been done. Oh, if we just had our own laws, if we just had our own society, if we just had our own cities, if we just had our own towns, we would be this and do this, and we would be so much better off. And then you have people rebutting that, saying, "Nah, black folks been done. The past 60 years or so, we have been through." And excuse after excuse after excuse is not going to fix us as a whole. The only thing that will fix us is accountability. The only thing that will fix us is a return to the Most High. You see, we had our own laws. We had our own statutes. We had our own ordinances. We had our own bylaws. We had our own land. We had our own borders. We had our own kings and queens. We had our own princes and princesses. We had our own courts. We had our own high priests. We had our own high priestesses. We had our own judges. We had our own scholars. We had our own seers. We had our own prophetic ones. We had our own prophets. We had our own farmers. We had our own cultivators. We had our own warriors. We had our own militaries. We had our own castles. We had our own mansions. We had our own towns. We had our own cattle. We had our own clean streams of water. We had our own technology. We had it all. But something happened. Something happened. The utter ruin of Yasharallah, the utter ruin of the Jews, the true Jews. All praises to the Most High. The utter destruction of the true Jews. Jeremiah chapter 16, starting at verse 1. The word of the Most High came also unto me, saying, Thou shalt not take thee a wife, neither shalt thou have sons or daughters in this place. For thus saith the Most High concerning the sons and concerning the daughters that are born in this place, and concerning their mammas that bear them, and concerning their papas that begot them in this land. They shall die of grievous deaths. They shall not be lamented, neither shall they be buried. But they shall be as dung upon the face of the earth, and they shall be consumed by the sword and by famine, and their carcasses shall be meat for the fowls of heaven and for the beasts of the earth. Y'all, this can almost bring tears to my eyes. Because what I just read was the beginning phases of our people who were living in disobedience, our ancestors and ancestresses, our foremothers and forefathers, who decided to go against the laws, statutes, and commands that were established for our people in the early days of our people's inception as a nation. The Most High promised to us in Deuteronomy chapter 28 that if we adhere to the laws, statutes, and commands that were given to our forefathers, that we would be blessed above all nations on this earth, that we would be the head of all nations on this earth. We would be the shot callers and the ballers. We would be the ones who the nations had to depend on for sustenance, for financial gain, that we were blessed to control. Economic systems from our nation throughout the world would be shared, and we would be in control of these systems. We would be fruitful in all things. Milk and honey would flow without end. We would be established within our own lands, our own borders, and we would be defended on all sides by those who would seek to be our enemies, because we wouldn't need to be the enemy to any nation. We wouldn't be the enemy to anyone. We would do those things that we were asked to do, and we would live in righteousness and truth all of our days, establishing those laws and commands and statutes, not only for that first and early generation, but for all subsequent generations to follow, so that our children's 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 children children's 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 children children's 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 children and on be able to inherit the goodness that the Most High had established for us. But when we began, our ancestors and ancestresses began to fall away from the truth that the Most High had established in us and began to do those things of the other nations, of the Gentiles, and begin to follow after the Gentiles and the nations outside of our borders, the Most High would give us away to the Gentile nations and cause us to be the tail and cause us to be placed under and oppressed by these Gentile nations. And great things, great travesties would take place within our nation, and we would be scattered to the four corners of the world. We would be removed from all of the blessings. We would be removed from all of the goodness, all of the fruitfulness. We would be removed from all of those good things that were set aside for us, that were established for us on this earthly realm. And we would be put under the boot of our enemies. Verse 5 of Jeremiah chapter 16 reads, "For thus saith the Most High, enter not into the house of mourning, neither go to lament, nor bemoan them. For I have taken away my peace from this people, saith the Most High, even loving kindness and mercy." You see, I started off this live stream singing my new song, Seek My Face. And then I went into 2 Chronicles chapter 17, verse 14, which highlights the need for us to seek the face of the Most High and return back into the law, statutes, and commands and leave our wicked ways alone. See, Brother Tim Norman, he is a victim of his own wickedness. He was a victim of his own evil intentions and evil heart that had not been rendered yet. Brother Tim Norman did not have a contrite heart and did not move with a contrite soul in the dealings he engaged himself with once he was released from prison after 10 years. Our brother Tim Norman, in his free will, decided not to cleave unto the Most High's law, statutes, and commands, but to use that slithery, smiling, deceptive, conniving nature that we are all guilty of if we do not remove and refine ourselves from it. And he used those qualities and those satanic, demonic characteristics for worldly gain. And now he and his family are paying the price for this. But it adds on to the stain and the legacy that we have received and have inherited as children of Israel, as we are all as a worldwide community, still doing our best to move outside of. Many of us are waking up to the truth now, and we don't want to be a scourge. We don't want to be those who are considered to be wicked and nasty and evil. We want to return unto the goodness that we were originally created to be within. Because many of us do see the signs of the time. Many of us have waken up to who we are. Many of us have seen the curses and have lived in the curses long enough to realize that now was the time to wake up and return back into the ways of the Most High. But those of us who don't do that will end up like our brother Tim. We are quick to do evil and wicked as a people, and slow to be loving and kind to one another. Oh, we can be kind and merciful to the enemy, to those who've been placed over us. Yes, master. Yes, boss. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Let me get that door for you, ma'am. Let me get that for you, master. And then close the door and shut the door on our own. Be conniving and nasty and wicked to our own. Smiling in our own face, knowing that we got evil intentions in store for our own. Quick to kill one of our own. Quick to commit a crime against one of our own. And it's these things, these nasty, nasty qualities that have been passed down generation to generation to generation after our fall and removal from our land. And while we was in our land still, that caused the Most High to turn away from us all those centuries ago. And the reason why we are here in this place, in this society, amongst others across the nations of the world today, and why it is so important today more than ever for us to wake up. Because after this, if we don't wake up, we will be considered just like the other nations, and we will be destroyed with them as well. All those who conspired against the children of the Most High. You see, the Most High has taken away the peace that was instilled in our early foremothers and forefathers. The Most High has taken away the loving kindness and mercies that we would show one another. As we wake up and return to the fold, however, those loving kindness and those mercies and that peace is restored unto us. And instead of us targeting one another for evil and wickedness, we can begin to target one another as fishermen, fisherwomen of the lost sheep of the house of Israel, of Yasharal. And we can begin to do whatever it takes in righteousness and in truth, be an example of the light of love and the light of righteousness and the light of kindness, all of the fruits of the spirit of good that need to be embodied in this day so that we can be an example of that goodness to our brothers and sisters here in this plane. Verse 6 of Jeremiah chapter 16. Both the great and the small shall die in this land. They shall not be buried, neither shall men lament for them, nor cut themselves, nor make themselves bald for them. Those were all cultural aspects of our heritage that we would do at a time of a death, when one of our brothers and sisters fell by the sword, or one of our brothers and sisters was killed, or one of our sisters or brothers ended up passing away. These were some cultural practices that our Hebrew Israelite family of old would do. Verse 7. Neither shall men tear themselves for them in mourning, to comfort them for the dead. Neither shall men give them the cup of consolation to drink for their father or for their mother. You see? Thou shalt not also go into the house of feasting, to sit with them to eat and drink. What do we call that today? We call that the repast. Ain't that what we call that in our community? That's called a repast. Where after the funeral, we all go sit down and eat some fried chicken. We all go down and eat some macaroni. We all go down and eat some cornbread. We all go down and eat some okra fried up. We going to eat that too. And we all reflect. Might have a little wine. I don't drink no more. I don't do anything like that right now. But we'd all sit down and have a little wine, a little orange juice, a little grape juice. Everybody laugh and reflect about that loved one who's been passed away, right? That's the repast, right? But the Most High said no more. We not gonna do that no more. Not in this land, you not, because of the wickedness and evil that we decided to be part of. Verse 9, Jeremiah 16. For thus saith the Most High of Hosts, the God of the El of Israel, behold, I will cause to cease out of this place in your eyes and in your days the voice of mirth. Mirth is joy. And the voice of gladness, and the voice of the bridegroom, and the voice of the bride. No longer would we experience the goodness that we were promised in that land that was set apart for us. No longer will we be getting married in that land and be able to enjoy our marriages. Now we will be getting married in the lands of our oppressors. Now there will be no more marriages. Now you will be used as dogs, like dogs. You will be bred to one another like horses, like cattle. You will be housed in plantations. You will be kept captive in plantations. You won't know who your mama is no more because you're going to be snatched from her. You're going to be snatched from her breast before you even wake up to recognize who you is. Before you even walk, you're going to be taken and stolen away from your mammy and your pappy, and you're going to be put on somebody else's plantation to be raised by them. And your people will be utterly destroyed. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt show this people all these words, and they shall say unto thee, wherefore hath the Most High pronounced all this great evil against us? Why did the Most High pronounce all this evil against us? Now that we cognizant of our punishment, what did we do to get all this on us? Why are we here? Why are we the tail and no longer the head? How come we keep being attacked and killed and shot down in the street? Why the police keep having targets on us? Why the courts is fighting against us? Why we don't seem to get no justice? Why don't we have no peace? Oh, now you want to know why, huh? Okay. What is our iniquity? What did we do? Oh, now you want to know what you did, huh? You ready to hear now? You ready to hear now? You hear me now? Good. Most High saying, oh, you ready now? Good. You had enough yet, children? Good. Now I'm gonna tell you. What is our sin that we have committed against the Most High, our El? Oh, now you got ear to hear. After you done been whooped and trampled on, huh? After you done been stolen away from your land, huh? Now you ready, huh? Verse 11, Jeremiah chapter 16. Then shalt thou say unto them, because your fathers have forsaken me, saith the Most High, and have walked after other gods, and have served them, and have worshipped them, and have forsaken me, and have not kept my law, and ye have done worse than your fathers. For behold, you walk everyone after the imagination of his evil heart. Talking about our own evil heart, that they may not hearken unto me. Therefore will I cast you out of this land into a land that you know not, neither you nor your fathers. There you shall serve other gods day and night, where I will not show you favor. If that don't wake us up to who we is as a people, I don't know what will. If that don't get your feathers ruffled, if you new to this channel and you've been wondering who you was, or you new to this whole idea of the truth, and you really trying to put a finger on, wait a second, my people, there's something deeper going on here. That was your answer right there. You should be able to see clearly at this point, not only who you are, why you are, where you are, and what you are. Verse 13 again. Therefore I will cast you out of this land and into a land that you know not, neither you nor your fathers. There you shall serve other gods day and night, where I will not show you favor. Verse 14. Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Most High, that it shall no more be said, the Most High liveth, brought up the children of Israel, Yasharallah, out of the land of Egypt, a Kemet. But the Most High liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, from all the lands whither he had driven them. And I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. You was doubting who you was and why you are here. What continent are we living on right now? We live in North America. We live in the Americas, Central, South, and the Caribbean. Isn't that where we was held captive? Isn't that where we was made captive? Isn't this where we was placed? Isn't this where we serve all sorts of mammon, gods, false idols? Isn't this where we've been trampled down by our enemies? Isn't this where we've been oppressed? Isn't this where we've been taken from our laws, statutes, and commands and put under the laws, statutes, and commands of the wicked one? Isn't this where we've been taken from the head of society and made the tail of society? 15 again. But the Most High liveth. This is what we going to start saying. But the Most High liveth, that brought up the children of Israel from the land of the north, where we live in right now, the land of the north, and from all the lands whither he had driven them. We are in every land, in every corner, every nook and cranny on this earth. And we are waking up. The lost sheep of the house of Israel are waking up. And I will bring them again into their land that I gave unto their fathers. Verse 16. Behold, I will send for many fishes. That's why your bruh True Jew had to make this channel, y'all. I realized that I had to get back to it. You see, I got another channel called Gatekeepers Ministries. And on that channel, you will find hours and hours and hours of studies that were filmed. Hours and hours and hours of studies that were filmed. Talking about so many subjects. And I got so overwhelmed with what I was sharing and what I was reading. I had to take a different approach to how I was going to deliver the truth and how I was going to serve the Most High in identifying the lost sheep of the house of Israel and how I was going to fish as a fisherman of the Most High. I had to figure out what bait I was going to put on the bottom of that hook before I cast that rod and I cast that line out into them waters. I'm not the only fisherman though. Brothers are waking up left and right. Brothers are fervently and zealously moving into the truth to see what they can do now to right a wrong and to make up for lost time. And we should be very grateful for this. Verse 16, Jeremiah chapter 16. Behold, I will send for many fishers, saith the Most High, and they shall fish them. And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and out of the holes of the rocks. For my eyes are upon all their ways. They are not hid from my face, neither is their iniquity hid from my eyes. And first I will recompense their iniquity and their sin double, because they have defiled my land. They have filled my inheritance with the carcasses of their detestable and abominable things. Now we're talking about all of those nations that once our people were removed from the land, and once we were beginning to be punished, you know what happened, right? Other nations moved in, and other nations took advantage of us. Other nations conspired against us. take advantage of the punishment that was placed over our ancestors and ancestresses in order to capitalize on that punishment for their own economic gain. Okay? But what does the Most High say about that? Oh, Most High, my strength and my fortress, and my refuge in the day of affliction. The Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profit. O Most High, my strength and my fortress and my refuge in the day of affliction. The Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profit. You see, the Gentile nations of the world who conspired with the wicked one in order to capitalize on the curses placed over our people when we decided to go against the law, statutes, and commands are going to realize that they made a great mistake in doing so. As we live in this time of the end, there are going to be many Gentiles who want to come and cleave to the house of Israel because their fathers told them and instructed them in the ways of wickedness. Their fathers told them that they were the chosen ones. Their fathers told them that they were the blessed of the earth, and that they could do whatever they want, that they could go into lands and nations and genocide these nations in the name of God. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That they could kill, rob, and steal from the indigenous peoples of the world, that they could go in and establish their own nasty governments over on top of governments and civilizations that already existed, and that they would be okay for this. Now the Gentiles of the world are waking up, and they're realizing the great ill that they committed as well. And they're going to say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profit. Verse 20, shall a man make gods unto himself, and they are no gods? Verse 21, therefore, behold, I will this once cause them to know. I will cause them to know my hand and my might. And they shall know that my name is the Most High. I'm going to go and read a few more verses out of Jeremiah 17, the captivity of Judah. The sin of Judah is written with a pen of iron and with the point of a diamond. It is graven upon the table of their heart and upon the horn of your altars. While their children remember their altars and their groves by the green trees upon the high hills. On my mountain in my field, on my mountain in the field, I will give thy substance and all thy treasures to the spoil, and thy high places for sin throughout all thy borders. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee. And I will cause thee to serve your enemies in the land which you don't know. For you have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever. Forever meaning, in this case, for as long as the children of Israel are lost in our ways, for as long as the children of Israel continue to give our minds and our hearts over to the wicked one. Thus saith the Most High, cursed be the man that trusteth in man, and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart departeth from the Most High. Remember that song, I Believe I Could Fly? I'm leaning on the everlasting arm. Oh, bless R. Kelly. I hope that brother is able to repent for the things that he has been committed of and that he is free. I know that the jail cells and the prison cells will be open in this time of the end, and all of our brothers who are locked away will be freed before it's all said and done. But that line in that song is so powerful. R. Kelly let us know in that song, I Believe I Could Fly, that his power wasn't in and of himself. I didn't know I was going to be talking about R. Kelly, but I know that in this line right here, this scripture, Cursed be the man that trusteth in man and maketh flesh his arm. See, the Most High wants us to lean on the everlasting arm. The Most High wants us to lean in the everlasting hedge of protection that is given to us and bestowed to us when we return into the place who we are, when we return into the placement of our proper mindset. You see in verse 4 how the Most High said, we shall discontinue from our heritage. This is why so many of us are like that ass and that ox who don't know who our owner is, who don't know our master's crib. We are lost sheep. We will be discontinued from our heritage because the sin of Judah was that great. But you want to know something else? Why our brother Tim Norman is receiving the punishment that he is receiving now is because I feel he knew that his sin was great. I feel that he knew he had a choice to make. Like Brother E40 say, everybody got choices. He knew that he had a decision to make. And it was either going to be the righteous one or the one of wickedness. And he chose the one of wickedness. The sin of Judah is written with a pen of iron and with the point of a diamond. It was graven. It is graven upon the table of our heart. Each one of us know. We search our heart of hearts that we have done wrong. Each one of us know. Each and every one of us know, y'all. And it's up to us to answer the call. It's up to us to pick up that phone. It's up to us to answer that door when we receive the knock. And if we don't, and we decide to go a different way, you better believe and you better know that there's going to be a great punishment that that individual is going to receive. Because we were called to be great in this earth. We were called to be great on this earth. We were called to be the sound and proper representatives of the light and love of the Most High on this earth. And we fell and we faltered and we fumbled that ball so hard. But guess what? There's hope. Because if we make flesh our arm and not the arm, the everlasting arm of the Most High, he shall be like the heath in the desert and shall not see when good cometh. You see, Brother Tim, he didn't see all that goodness in front of his face. He couldn't patiently move forward and wait. Nope, nope, nope. For his mama. He had to go out and he had to do all these things behind her back. He had to commit heinous crimes. He had to do the most dastardly things because he made himself the one who he trusted. He trusted in his system. He trusted in his own nasty imagination. And now he's paying the price. And he still has to pay an ultimate price. And the ultimate price haven't even been cashed in yet. Because we still living in this time of the end. Where things are still unraveling right before our eyes. But chapter 7, oh, excuse me, stand on verse 6. For he shall be like the heath in the desert, and shall not see when good cometh, but shall inhabit the parched places in the wilderness, in a salt land, and not inhabited. You see, let me show y'all something real quick. When you begin to live a life of righteousness, and you begin to do the work of the Most High, you become that sound-minded fisherman of the Most High. The Most High is going to establish you in the places that are fertile and abundant. I want to show y'all something real quick. Look at all of the land. Look at this place of abundance. Look at this place of fertility. Look at the trees as they stand strong. Did y'all see that? I'm in a fertile place right now. All praises to the Most High. I haven't been here long, but I knew that one day I will be taken from the inner city and I will be established on a land that would be indicative of the Most High's guiding my life to continue to do the work that is needed to prepare for the new kingdom to come. If I was going to lead up here and I was going to lean on myself, or I was going to lean on other men and trust and depend on the arm or the will of another man, I would not be where I am today. I'm not showing you that land to boast and brag. I'm showing you the land to truly illustrate that the living word of the Most High is not a thing of the past, but it is present in our lives right now. It is true and alive right now. And as long as you seek the face of the Most High in truth and righteousness, the Most High will never forsake thee again. The Most High will never turn his back on you again. And I'm definitely primarily talking to the children of Yashra, the children of Israel. Verse 7 of chapter 17, Jeremiah. Blessed is the man that trusteth in the Most High, and whose hope the Most High is. Y'all see? Your brother, true Jew, has made a decision to trust unequivocally in the Most High. I don't play when it comes to the Most High and the trust that has been placed within me as a gift and blessing back to the Most High. For by grace are we saved by faith, and that not of ourselves. It is a gift of God. If we walked around here thinking we was receiving salvation and we're in line to receive salvation as the elect, as the chosen ones of the Most High, and that work and that election is of our own selves, oh, why we popping my collar every day on this YouTube bragging and boasting, making all my brothers and sisters feel little, belittling y'all, belittling myself without even knowing it, moving with utter ego, leading all of y'all straight on into damnation. You know why? Because the things that have been established for me to take hold of in this present day are not of myself. The faith that would call me to receive that salvation eventually is not of myself. It is Yahshua, Mashiach's faith in the Most High, Father El, that allowed him to have the endurance and the longevity in this physical realm to even withhold that nasty, 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 nasty oppression and crucifixion that hanging from that tree. It is the faith in Yahshua that caused his fleshly body to be destroyed and to be killed, and for his spirit to be made alive. I don't know if y'all hearing me. For that fleshly body that the Most High instruct us not to trust in order for that spirit to be made alive, to then seemingly be killed, but to be made eternal, to then be put back into that physical body and be raised from the tomb, in order to be a living testimony of the power, the magnificence, and the glory of the Most High. All praises to the Most High, y'all. Mm. You see how real these choices can get, y'all? Verse 8, verse 7 again. Blessed is the man that trusteth in the Most High, and whose hope the Most High is. For he shall be as a tree. Y'all saw them trees I showed y'all? Y'all can see some of them right there. See how green and lush they are? For he shall be as a tree planted by the waters, and that spreadeth out her roots by the river, and shall not see when heat cometh, but her leaf shall be green, shall not be careful in the year of drought, neither shall cease from yielding fruit. To the Most High. The heart is deceitfully, excuse me, y'all. My bad. Hold on. My bad. Sorry about that. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? Yes. All praises, Most High Mama and Papa. I, the Lord, I, the Most High, search the heart. I try the reins, even to give every man according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doings. True Jew said, I'm not finna do like Tim. I'm not finna do like Brother Tim. Nope. And you know what's crazy? I literally have an older brother named Timothy. Okay. I told y'all I have 19. Well, it's 19 of us. I have 18 brothers and sisters. My brother that's on top of me, well, I have twin brothers that's on top of me. And then I have our brother that's on top of them. That's my brother Tim, our brother Tim, Tita. So when I think about that name and I think about Timothy, even in this book, he was named after Timothy in the Bible. When I think about that name, and then I think about how our brother Tim, Miss Robbie's son, went on committed those fraudulent acts and went on and chose to do what he did, I could only think about the Most High searching the heart of man and searching the heart and trying the reins and giving to every man according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doings. We see what happened with Tim, and we see what's happening with Brother True Jew. Right now, I'm sitting on this sacred soil, this land that was blessed to me. I'm sitting here in a place of abundance, a place of fruitfulness, where the leaves on the trees are green and they not worried about no drought. The land is fertile. This land is not worried about no drought coming. We just had one of the hottest summers on record, and every leaf on these trees is green. Of course, we getting closer to fall, so the tree leaves are starting to turn. They're oranges and they're beautiful little colors like that. But these tree leaves was green, y'all. Your brother True Jew still got the life and love of the Most High in him. Didn't have to, y'all. This is what I'm doing my best to illustrate to y'all. I'm a hood baby. Do y'all hear me? All of the things that Tim did against his mama and her legacy, I could have did just as well as him. Y'all hearing me? Be dead cold in the grave right now. Are y'all hearing me? For some reason, some powerful divine reason, the Most High kept that hand of love and light and truth on me. Heeded the call. This is why I go so hard, y'all. This is why I don't play with this, y'all. Because I was just another little brother in the hood myself. Anything could have happened to me. I remember one night, y'all, when I was 19 years old. I'm a block away from my house. We had a Burger King a block away from our house. Okay, the Burger King, that's the hood Burger King, y'all. Everybody go to the Burger King. This is where we go. I was in my little car. It was about 10 o'clock at night. I know the Burger King closed, like the drive through. They close inside like at 10. So I had to go through the drive through. I pulled up to the drive through. It's right across from a Motel 6. Well, it's not a Motel 6 no more, but it was a Motel 6. That's the little hood Motel 6, where all the prostitutes, all the pimps, and all the players be. All the D-boys be. This is where they conduct a lot of business at. I ain't telling nothing the police don't already know. Okay? I pulls in to the drive-through. I'm the only one in the drive-through. You know how usually it'd be the line in the drive-through where somebody would be at the intercom ordering and it'd be a long line behind. That wasn't the case this evening. Even though it was two vehicles in front of me that had already turned the corner to go make their payment. I pulls in and I'm sitting like this. Look where I'm at. I'm on the right side of the driver's seat right now as I'm talking to y'all. Okay, so I'm leaning this way. Now y'all know the driver's seat right here, the passenger seat right here, and it's an opening in the middle of the seat. So that the rear view mirror, you can look through it, you can look behind, and you can see who behind you, right? So I'm sitting like this, and I'm looking at the window. I'm looking out the window at the menu, and I'm like, okay, what I'm finna order tonight? Y'all, I kid y'all not. As soon something told me, place your order. Lean over and place your order. Y'all, as soon as I went like this to place my order, somebody let off on the car, and a bullet wheezed by my head, y'all. Broke out my back window. The bullet went pew, straight by my head. Broke out my whole back window, y'all. I didn't place no food order that night. Listen, I was sitting like this, looking out the window to place my order. Something told me lean over and get ready to place your order. As soon as I did this and was like, hello, blasted out. I put my car, I put my car in gear, and I smashed off. I went around, I hit that corner. The first thing I could think of is, dang, somebody shooting at me. The second thing I thought of, I don't know where y'all from, but I ain't no punk. I ain't never been no punk. So the first thing that hit me was, I gotta see who's shooting at me, but I gotta get into a place of safety first. So I turned the corner. I got out, I smashed out the driveway at the drive-through. I know them people that was paying, they was like, what the heck is going on? I smashed out and I hit the little corner because most parking lots got an entrance and an exit for their parking lot. So I hit the exit of the parking lot and I circled the block. I had my headlights off once I left out the parking lot though. Hood tactics. Your bruh you ain't gang goofy. So I hit the lights. I turned around and I parked on the other side, perpendicular or parallel to where I was already at in the drive-through, facing west, but now I'm facing east. Headlights off. And I'm like, oh, no, no, no. I got to see who's shooting at me. I didn't see nobody running. I didn't see nobody hiding. My heart beating hard. I'm like, oh, that's all bad. That's the first time I realized that I'm not finna sit up here and be no victim in my own neighborhood. I'm not finna sit up here and get killed in my own neighborhood. Fourth generation in this place. I live in my great auntie house. Ain't no way I'm finna get smoked in my own hood. RIP to all the brothers who got killed in their own hood. Nipsey Hussle killed in his own hood. My cousin Rob killed in our hood, right here on Shasta Street on my arm. Do y'all see what I'm talking about? Do y'all see what I'm talking about? Do y'all see how fragile life is? Do y'all see how the choices we make? Did I know that at the time? No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I didn't know that at the time. You see what I'm saying? The choices that we make. Sometimes we make choices and we don't know what the future holds for us. But we are constantly getting, excuse me, y'all. See, I can't even knock all the way. I can't even knock all the way without this phone falling. The choices that we make, choices that we make. Sometimes we don't know what the future holds for us, but we constantly getting a knock on the door. The mind of our conscience waking us up, trying to wake us up. We either gonna answer the call or we not, y'all. I'm so thankful and grateful that I answered the call, that I don't have to live a life of making uncouth choices like our brother Tim did. I have sought the face of the Most High in every single day of my life. Since then, I have been rewarded. Any young life that watched this live stream, any other young life that's led to this video in the future, I pray and I hope that you heed the call. Any of the elders that's still on the fence, any of my peers that might come across this video and see this message, I hope that you heed the call. Y'all stay in my prayers. I pray for you, not pray on you. You see, Brother Tim decided he wasn't going to pray for his mama and his mama's legacy and what the good that was done through her life to benefit our people. He decided he was going to PREY on our people. He was going to pray on our people, not pray for our people. And because he decided to do that, a great trouble took place. Something very horrendous took place. And now he's paying the first part of that punishment because he decided to move that way. Listen, y'all, we have to remember that the Most High's eyes are upon all of our ways. Our ways are not hid from the Most High's face, neither is our iniquity hid from the Most High's eyes. That's Jeremiah 16, verse 17. The Most High tells us that our sin will be recompensed unto us double because of our wicked and evil ways. This was a word indeed. I knew that when I saw that article last night about Tim being convicted and being found guilty of killing his nephew or having his nephew killed, my heart went out to the whole family. My heart went out to Miss Robbie. Both of her sons then got took away at the age of 37. Tim did all these nasty things when he was 37. He's not 37 now, but when he did those things, he was 37 years old. His older brother was killed at the age of 37. And I'm reporting on these things at the age of 37. Could it be that one out of three of us will really receive the love and light of the truth? Wow, that just hit me. Three 37-year-olds at different sections of life, only one of them is standing in the truth of the Most High. And that word tells us that 2/3 of our people are going to be destroyed because we have decided to keep on moving in the ways of wickedness and not answering the call of righteousness. One out of three will do what we need to do on behalf of the Most High. That's wild to me. Now, of course, there are billions of us on the face of this earth, and I'm just hoping that one out of three is you who is watching this live stream. I'm hoping that you who watching this live stream is of the 1/3, whether you know it right now or not. I truly hope that you are the called or the chosen or the elect. I truly do. Wow. I thank y'all for joining me today. I give all the thanks and glory and honor to the Most High. I thank y'all for taking time out of your day on this Shabbat to allow yourself to hear the word. I'm super happy that you are of the 1/3 too, Queen Sister Carly. I'm very thankful and grateful as well. And we're going to keep on rocking. We're going to keep on moving in truth. We're going to keep it moving. You know, I recently did a post in the community side thanking everybody who's participated in my journey, which is our journey up to this point. And the channel have grown. The channel have grown to over 700 supporters, y'all. And I'm so grateful for that. And I made a promise to y'all. I've been made this promise to myself. Some key words I wrote in that post when I said, y'all got to know, I will never sell my soul. I will never sell my soul. First of all, this soul ain't mine to sell. My mom always said, it ain't yours until you get it. And I said, it ain't, I added on to it. She said, it ain't yours till you get it. I said, and even then, it's on loan. This whole experience that we living through is a trial and a testing ground. Okay? The soul and spirit that we have within us is not our own. We did not create it. We are co-creators. We are co-creators and co-creatresses. That is what makes us children of the Most High. Okay? But we are not the actual source. You know, I got to be careful how I say these things. We are the source. But in this placement on this realm, we have a certain designation as the children of the Most High. You see, it's a very interesting dynamic. But either way it goes, these souls are not ours to sell. Ain't no way, after everything that I've been through and everything that I've been blessed with and everything, all the grace and mercy over my life, would I cast that mercy and grace to the pigs? No, never. So y'all got my word on that when I'm telling y'all that no matter how big this channel get, can't nobody fool your bruh True Jew. Okay, we gonna keep it rocking and rolling just how we doing, and we gonna keep on delivering light and truth, and we gonna keep on waking up the lost sheep of the house of Israel. We gonna keep on being the light of the Most High in this place. We gonna keep on fighting wickedness and evil. We gonna keep on standing strong in the face of wickedness and evil. We ain't gonna let the devil, Satan, trick us out of position. We not gonna let the devil and his minions trick us out of position. We not gonna be fooled. We not even gonna be troubled because we know the peace of the Most High. Look, y'all, it's your bro True Jew tapping in with y'all the only way I know how. Raw, real, and uncut. Please excuse the phone falling them couple times. I don't be liking when that happen. Please excuse me, but I thank y'all for rocking with me through it all. All right? Remember, I did not show you the things I showed you to be bragging and boasting. I showed you the things I showed you to show you and illustrate to you that the Most High's word is real. And if we adhere to the Most High's word, we will be blessed beyond imagination. And we will return as the heads of this society that we was called to be. Okay? I have to illustrate to you that the word is true and real. That's one of the main reasons we was called to be fishermen in this place at this time. Okay? I love y'all to life always. Most time Mama Papa willing, I'll be back with another one. But until then, Shabbat Shalom and peace.